Welcome back to another episode of the George Manz Coins YouTube videos. In our latest episode, it looks like we have some a different drawing of a United States map as it appears here, George. So what's the story behind that today?
Well, I have a coin from Mexico City issued in 1783, and it was supposed to be sent to Louisiana, which was French territory at the time. I should say Spanish territory at the time, and because there was a shortage of coin, and unfortunately there was a big hurricane and the ship went down, and the coins were not found for several hundred years later. Anyways, the Spanish needed money, and the ship sank. So what eventually happened was they sold Louisiana to Napoleon Bonaparte, who had just become dictator of France, and he kept it for a couple of years and then decided that he needed money as well, and he decided to sell it to the United States government for $15 million, and it includes parts of all or parts of 17 U.S. states, and a little bit of Alberta and Saskatchewan, and it was probably the biggest land sale of, it was only like 4 cents an acre. It was really cheap.
Yeah, and it's one of the most spoke about land purchases in history, the Louisiana Purchase. And it's interesting to see the evolution from the original Spanish occupation, or to settlement, as it were, to French, and Louisiana as a state and as is such an amazing history into it. And it's nice to you look at the different regions that are there, and we'll show a closer view of this map. It's amazing, and as we've said before, it's living history. How many of the medals were,
these are coins.
The coins, sorry.
Huge numbers.
Huge numbers of them are still out there. And when were they initially recovered?
I believe in 1967, something like that.
And they were just in the Gulf of Mexico from Mexico City, heading up to probably what would have been the capital of Louisiana back then, New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yeah. So, and funny, with the recent weather tragedies we've seen in the southern United States, in our region, how even back then they still had the same effect as they did today. Although the dollar value these days is a lot greater than it was back then, I'm supposing. Anything else we should know about these today, George?
No, it's just I just find it interesting that because of a shipwreck, land changed hands twice, from Spanish to French to American.
Who knows what would happen if that ship hadn't sank, hey? So we want to thank everybody for joining us today, and remind everybody, if you've got any questions or comments, or just put them into the comments of the video here, and we will try to answer them as best as we can. And also, if you want, you can email them as well. The contact information is on the channel as well. And remember to tell your friends, and hit that big red button to subscribe. Thanks for joining me today, George.
Thank you, Terry.